Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here, and today we find ourselves in the Popcat Fighters tournament where the world's greatest Popcat fighters converge to battle each other in epic combat. Now, becoming the next hair-weight champion of the world is no easy task, but the different Popcat fighters will do their best to claw their way to the top. Winning the hair-weight champion title not only gets you the $9 trillion grand prize, it also means you'll be crowned as the greatest Popcats fighter in the world. Popcats Fighter is a strategic card game that captures the essence of fighting video game in an easy-to-pick-up party game that you can play anywhere and take it with you. It plays 2 to 4 players, and you can play 1 versus 1 cat fight or a 2 versus 2 dynamic duo. Now, it's for ages 13 and up, and it's published by NinjaBot. Now, it's on Kickstarter right now, so I'm going to show you how the game works, and then I'll see you on the other side. This is a Kickstarter preview, so all of the art you see is subject to change, and all the components you see here are prototype. You're going to want to check the link in the description of this video to see the Kickstarter project and see all the final art and components. At the beginning of the game, you get to pick one of these 8 characters. They're very well illustrated. They all have a special ability. We'll go over some of these later, but everyone will get to select one of these. Now, the game can be played 1 versus 1 or 2 versus 2. I'm going to go over the 1 versus 1 game first and then cover the 2 versus 2 at the end. Now, each character is also going to come with 2 other cards that correspond with it, a super move and a mega move. These are powerful moves we'll go over later. You're also going to get a health bar, and this is going to help track how many hits you've taken, how many you have left, and how many lives you have left. Cats have 9 lives, and essentially each 3 hits is equal to 1 life, and if you run out, you have lost this specific match. You'll also have a meter storage. This is where you'll be holding cards throughout the game, and this will count how many cards you have, and these will help activate some of these powerful moves. Each player also gets 1 power-up card per match. You're randomly given one of these, and you place it underneath your character, and this will give that character another special ability for this specific game. Now, you sit opposite your opponent, and this will be in the middle. In this case, we're the red corner, and the first player to win 2 matches first will win the game. Each player will get 8 cards. There's a deck specific for 1 versus 1, and you'll use only that deck in this game. And you'll flip a coin to see who goes first. That player will start as the attacker. Each round goes through 3 phases: attack, defense, and response. Let's talk about the attack phase. During the attack phase, the attacker can perform 4 actions. One of the actions is an attack move. To play an attack move, you can simply play an attack card face up like this. Attacks have this icon in it, and it's going to hit 4 damage if they don't end up defending it. Another thing you can do, one of the types of attacks, is you can do a directional card. Now, this can be played on its own. It would do 3 hits if it does end up hitting. Another type of attack you could do is you could place an attack card, but you can also place a directional card with it like this. And so now this will end up doing 6 hits, but these 2 attacks work in conjunction with each other. Now, another type of card you can play on your turn is an instant. It will go right next to this because it has that icon on it, and you can only play one of these per round. And this one says you may stack a hit card on top of any or all of your available attack moves, even if it already has a hit in or directional card already there, but it cannot stack on special moves. So I play that instantly, and I get to trigger that. So that allows me to play another hit card on top of any of my other stacks that I already have going on here. Let's say we did Litter Toss on top of this Dash. Now, that would have been my 4 moves as the attacker. I had 1, 2, 3, and then I played the instant for 4. But another possible thing you could have done as one of those 4 actions is simply draw 2 cards from the deck. There's a couple other things you can do too, but I'll go over those later. So after those 4 actions for the attacker, it goes to the defense phase. Now, the defender also gets 4 actions, and they can do many of the same things. They can play cards, but they're going to be playing cards that defend. Now, I'm playing these cards on the other side of this, facing us so that we can read them a little bit easier. This one says block. This is going to reduce damage by 3 hits, but it cannot block moves that have throw cards. Well, luckily we don't have any moves that have throw cards here. So this is going to be able to block, move by 3 hits. Now, each of these is considered 1 attack move. So there's 3 attack moves here. So they have 3 more actions left. Let's say they play this card. This is a counter card. It avoids damage from 1 attack move. And again, each of these is considered 1 attack move each, so is this. This one does 8, so they're going to be able to avoid this damage from this attack. But they also can counter with 1 attack move and then draw 2 cards at the end of the turn. So they've played that, and now they're going to play this, which is Bite. It's going to do 2 damage if that other player that was originally the attacker isn't able to defend, because this counter card is going to allow that attacker to defend at the end of this spot. So we've actually played 2 actions here, and you can continue to play defense or instant cards. You can draw cards like before, and there's a couple other things, again, that we'll go over later. So let's say the defender is done. Because a counter card was played, we would go to the response phase. Otherwise, we would just go to the end of the round. So this original attacker has 1 chance to try to play a defense move, but that's it. No counter cards and no attacks. But let's say they did not have one. They could have maybe played this if they had it, a defense that would be going against that bite, but let's just say they didn't. And they still could have played some instant cards or drawn cards and done some other things that I'll go over later, but typically they're trying to defend at this point. So now during this turn end phase, we're going to look and adjust your health meter. So here we did not defend this bite, so we're taking 2 hits. So we would have moved our health meter down 2 hits like that. Now the other player, they counter, which allowed them to defend 1 attack. They defended this one, and this one allowed them to defend 3 points. This one was 4, so it did 1 damage. So we have 1 damage here, plus 6 here. That player would go down 7 on their health meter. Then each player is going to take all their cards in front of them, and they're either going to get discarded or added to their meter storage, depending on what happened with that card. If a card was even remotely successful at what it was doing. In this case, this got defended for 3, but it did 1 damage, which means it was somewhat successful. So in that case, if it's at all, even barely successful or more, this card will go to your meter storage pile. So this card is going to go here, and there's never any instant cards that go here. So we'll put this here, and we'll start tracking how many cards are in here. Now these 2 were completely blocked, so they would get discarded, and these 2 did hit, so these ones would go to meter storage as well. So we would add 2 more here, and this would have us up to 3 cards in our meter storage. Now at this point, you'd have to discard down to 12 cards in your hand, and then it would start a new round. So the other player would be the attacker first, then you'd be the defender. So now I'm going to go over some of the actions that we haven't yet talked about, because we've gone over all the basic things. Now these special cards, how they're used is you can use them anytime you get to attack, and it's considered 1 attack. And what you can do is you'll have to spend a certain amount of cards from your meter. Remember, right now we have 3 cards, but let's say we had this up to 5. For an attack, we could use this and put this card in play for an attack, and it would do 4 damage, and reward, we would heal 2 hits as well. If you had 9, you could do 11 damage with this mega move. You would just put this card into where your attack section is. Now, my power-up actually said my mega move costs 2 less cards. So even if I got this up to 7, I could spend it and do this. So if on the attacker's turn they did that, they discarded all those 7 cards because they had that extra power up to use this mega move, then that other player might still be able to defend from it. So they might be able to, on their side, be able to play a card like this, which is a special move block. So we could do this now. And each player can only play 1 special move per round. Now when you're attacking or defending, one of the actions we didn't yet talk about is called burning. You can basically take 2 cards from your hand, and you would discard one of them out of the game, and you would place the other on your meter storage, and that's just a way to start building this up if you need to get maybe a card here in order to activate one of the super moves or mega moves. Now another card you can play when you're attacking or defending is a move enhancer card, and they look something like this. For example, it has this icon, Taunt. This card affects all of your attack moves played. The opponent must block this card with a kitten block card, and only before they're able to defend themselves against the attack. So they need to block this with this before they can start blocking these. Another move enhancer card is Stunned. Now you play this on one of your attacking moves, and then to activate it, you basically have to discard 2 cards off of your meter. Remember, these are the cards that help get your super move and mega moves done. You discard 2 cards off of that, and then basically that activates this, and the chosen move could not be defended against at this point. And some other cards. Prowl, it's 2 hits, and it cannot be countered, so no one could counter against a Prowl. And the Throw does 2 hits damage, but it cannot be blocked by Kitten Block. And there is another special card in the game. It's called the Challenge Accepted. It's played like an instant. Remember, only 1 instant per round per player. And this allows you to pick any opponent. If you're playing with more than 2 players, you can pick any of the other opponents. And then each player will draw the top 3 cards from their meter storage, and they're going to place it in front of themselves. And then you're going to count up the number of hits. And in this case, the number of hits is 1 for each card and the damage that it does. So this has 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's 11 hits. Where this one has 1, 2, nothing, nothing, but there's 3 cards, so it's 2, 3, 4, 5, it's 11 to 5. And whoever has the most does the damage to the other player and they cannot defend it. And this continues until any one of the players has died, and then the other player will get a win token. Whoever gets 2 first is the winner. Now when playing the 2 versus 2, you have this team, which are 2 different players on the red corner, and this team, which is 2 different players on the blue corner. Now each of the players have their own lives, but they share a meter storage. Now on your turn, you can actually take 2 cards and give it to your partner, but only if they're able to use it that turn. Also, the instance, each player from each team can play an instant once per round. Now the turn order changes and alternates throughout the rounds. The first round, this player will attack this player. Then this player will attack this player. Then this player will attack this player. And then finally this player will attack this player. And to keep track of this, there's this little token here. It says meow turn to keep track of whose turn it is. Now in the second round, it will start with this player attacking this player, then this player attacking this player, then this player attacking this player, and then this player attacking this player. Again, keeping track of it with this token, and rounds would cycle like that. Now there is a second deck when you play 2 versus 2. It has these icons in the upper right. Here's some of the unique cards that are in there. There's a lot more cards in this, but there are more duplicates of these. And a lot of them have to do with sort of partnerships and teaming and things like that. You can pause it here to read what these do if you like. Now, if one of your teammates are to die, they would flip their character over to game over, and they would take all the cards in their hand that are not instants, and they would place them in the meter storage that's shared with you. Now, while they're dead, their inner power and their power-up is unavailable to you, but during your turn, you actually get 5 actions instead of the normal 4, regardless of if you're attacking or defending. But there is a way to revive your teammate, and that's by taking life from yourself and giving it to them. You basically take 3 hits, you give them 3 hits, and you draw 2, and you have the end of your turn. And same as the 1 versus 1, whatever side gets 2 wins first wins the game. Now just so you can see all of the different characters, what their inner powers are, what their super move and mega moves are, you can see them here, and you can pause the video to look at them closely. Well, there you have Popcats Fighter, and as I've shown in the overview, it's a strategic card game that captures that essence of a fighting video game in an easy to pick up party game that you can take anywhere with you. Now, the art is adorable, and the different abilities of all the characters and all the power-ups has each game feeling unique. Now, if you'd like to see all the final art and components and all the different pledge levels available, you can click the link below me in the description of this video, and it will take you to the Kickstarter page, and I'm sure the people at NinjaBot would love your support.